I really don't know where to start. X-Men Apocalypse! Finally, this is the film that I've been waiting since Days of Future Past, the final scene where we get the look of Apocalypse in the final end credit scenes. Unfortunately, I have to say a few things about this film. There are a few things that I really have to say. I left the cinema with mixed feelings. To be honest, this X-Men Apocalypse is a very ambitious film, but doesn't really deliver that much. But on that note, I'm enjoying a hell lot of it. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil a lot to you guys. I'm just keeping this as minor as possible so that you guys still can watch this film. Let me give you the summary. This film is about Apocalypse, and the ancient Egyptian god who is known as the first mutant, has finally awoke for thousands of years and tried to reshape the world as how he imagined with the help of 4 horsemen. You got Magneto, Psylocke, Storm, and Angel. And then the X-Men, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Nightcrawler, Quicksilver, Mystique, try to stop him. But there's a lot of things going on in this film. But somehow, at least how I feel, somehow this film doesn't live to Days of Future Past. For me, Days of Future Past is a very good film. I gave it a perfect score, 10 out of 10, which really blew my mind. This film is trying to be as good as Days of Future Past. But there's some stuff that I do like, and then there's some stuff that I felt like it's not that necessary at all. But you have to give credit to Bryan Singer for doing a very good job. But with the source material that he's having, it's really too much to cram. I think that this is what's going on with Marvel symptoms, where you have tons of materials but you have to cram that into a 2.5 hours film. But in that case, Civil War did a great job with it. You have so much source material and they did a very good job out of it. But for this case, it's very similar to Age of Ultron, where you have tons of characters, tons of information just crammed into 2.5 films and it ended up badly. But for X-Men Apocalypse, it's not that bad. I will be talking about a lot on a full spoiler review soon, but I'm going to keep this as simple as possible. There are tons of action in this film. For those people who crave for action, you are going to enjoy the heck out of it. But for X-Men fans like me, well, I'm not a heavy X-Men fan. I'm more of a casual X-Men fan, but I still enjoy a hell of it. I do have problems with this film. It's not a perfect film by all means, but to be honest, I left this film feel mixed. The cast were great. To be honest, until now, I always have trouble recognizing or acknowledging James McAvoy as Professor Xavier. But in this film, he nails it. As in, he really nails the Xavier role. I mean, don't get me wrong, Patrick Stewart has always been Xavier, but James McAvoy proved himself to be the younger version of Xavier. Michael Fassbender is really great as well. I already recognize Fassbender as the Magneto in Days of Future Past, but this film he really nails it. There's one particular scene where I think that you already saw in the trailer where he lost his family, then he started crying, but that was mind-blowingly good. Let's talk about Mystique. I'm still having problem with Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. But luckily, this film doesn't show much of Mystique. Until now, I can never buy Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. To be honest, I'm not a Jennifer Lawrence fan. Sue me. And the other thing, Evan Peters still nails the role as Quicksilver. Okay, I'm going to talk about Quicksilver, a quick one. Okay, if you remember in the film Days of Future Past, where Quicksilver plays very well in that role when he tried to help Magneto escape. But this film, Bryan Singer, you did it well, you top it up again. This film where Quicksilver, just mind blown. I mean, the action scene with Quicksilver is mind blown. That you did it again, you top it off. I'm like, wow, you guys, you really gotta see for Quicksilver part. Okay, Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac has been a fantastic actor, but I have to say one thing about Apocalypse. I'm still having trouble about Apocalypse. Visual-wise, he is menacing at some point, but he's not menacing at some point as well. But the way he sounds, he is damn menacing. Every time when you hear Apocalypse say something, particularly for me, I feels the shiver. But visual-wise, not that great. At the same time, I find that Apocalypse is being underused in the film because this one is called X-Men Apocalypse. The way I imagine this film, as in like they will be talking about Apocalypse a lot. Yeah, he is the main villain, but I was imagining like a lot, as in like the Joker in The Dark Knight, a lot. But in this one, he doesn't show much. He's like being pressed down. If you get the chance to watch the film, you better go. But I felt like he is being pressed down. That is how I feel, at least, but I don't know how about you guys. The introduction of Cyclops, that was great, because Cyclops has never been utilized since X-Men 1, X-Men 2. But I felt like Cyclops was overutilized because I wanted to see more of Apocalypse instead. Jean Grey was great, but I'm still having trouble recognizing or acknowledging Sophia Turner as Jean Grey because I'm already used to the old Jean Grey. But the character of Jean Grey in this film is really, really good. But again, applies to Cyclops. They tell too much of Jean Grey when I was focusing more on Apocalypse instead. But turns out, yeah, other characters, I'm really, really fine. Luckily, they didn't talk much about Jubilee, they didn't talk much about Nightcrawler, they didn't talk about on other characters, which I'm really, really fine. But because when I entered this movie, I wanted to know more about Apocalypse to see what can he do. But because he's being pressed down, they tend to talk about other stuff. This is what you all should already know. Wolverine is in the film. You guys should really, really know because it's already in the trailer. I'm not going to spoil it. It's already in the trailer. Wolverine is in the film. But I will be specifically saying about Wolverine in the full spoiler review. I only need to see this film once. I'm not going to see it twice to give you a full spoiler review. To be honest, when I left the film, I wanted to see more of Apocalypse. So, which really left me hanging to be exact, because this is not the Apocalypse that, personally, that I deserve as an X-Men fan. I wanted more. Don't get me wrong. Okay, the differences between Civil War and X-Men Apocalypse, that the airport scene in the Civil War, it was a hell lot of fun. But at the same time, you wanted more fights, which is great. But whereas in this Apocalypse, keeps you hanging, that you don't feel satisfied with the Apocalypse that you have now. To be honest, I hope that this is a part 1, part 2 kind of film where Apocalypse really shine, really shows that he is very, very powerful. But I kind of get it because the next installment of X-Men is going to be awesome as well. Okay, let me talk about specifically. The first half of the film, it was great. To be honest, I was paying attention to the details, their conversation, because it doesn't sound that bad. I really, really enjoy it. But until a certain scene where Wolverine shows up, that is where I kind of get off a little bit. And I started to get a little bit off. It doesn't feel great as well. I will be talking about a lot on the full spoiler review. Then after that, then it doesn't sound that great anymore. So the first half, I have to give full credit because the conversation, the details, everything was really, really good until the second half. The second half wasn't that great. I can say like, particularly I'm having trouble with the fourth act. The third act was good. The fourth act was, meh. But the first act was great because you have the introduction of Apocalypse. Then the second act where, Apocalypse started to rise. Then you having some trouble here and there. And then I find some parts were great as well, and then some parts were a bit off. To be honest, when I watch this, certain moments of the film really brings me back to older films like X-Men First Class, even Days of Future Past, because they are related as a storyline. And then there are some parts that really brings me back all the way to X-Men 2. I really like those nice touch where it really brings you back to the older X-Men films. Let's top it all off. The action was great. Some scenes were great as well. The casting, the actors and actresses, wow, they did very, very well. Especially from James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. Bryan Singer, you did well, but not Days of Future Past mind-blowingly good. But I still enjoy this film. So I am giving X-Men Apocalypse 7 out of 10. So what do you guys think of the film? Have you watched it? If you have watched it, maybe you can comment down below and tell me what you all think about the film. Or maybe you can disagree what I said or agree what I said. So give me a like, a thumbs up or thumbs down, however you like. And subscribe to my channel to see more movie reviews in the future. And maybe click one of these links to see more movie reviews. And I'll see you all